Terima kasih sudah klik video ini, tapi jangan lupa guys klik tombol subscribe, karena klik tombol subscribe itu gratis dengan subscribe kamu support channel ini untuk upload video setiap hari. Ingat, subscribe itu gratis, gak ada ruginya kamu klik tombol subscribe. Selamat menonton, yahoo.
No one just turns up to the gym as absolute animal. You've got to develop it. Having that self-belief that you can achieve anything if you work towards it and you dedicate a lot of time, you can achieve anything you want to achieve in life. I was very overweight, I was very self-conscious, didn't like the way I looked, I hated exercise. I'd have McDonald's 4 or 5 times a week. I remember I'd go to KFC on my own and order a family bucket of KFC and just eat all the skin and leave all the chicken. Yeah, I just literally love junk food. I have to sacrifice going out for meals with friends because I want to stay on my nutrition track. I've got to sacrifice just going to a friend's house because I might have to get in bed for a certain time, and so I get my 9 hours sleep so I can train the next day. I've got to train 4.5 hours, 4 hours a day, and that takes a lot of sacrifice to be able to be in the right condition to be able to do that. Belief is something that is so important. I've always had a very strong belief that I can one day compete at the CrossFit Games. Failure is something everyone goes through. I've been through lots of failures in my CrossFit career. One was last year. I was very close to qualifying for the CrossFit Games last year, and there was one workout that cost me that spot. Everyone's going to have failures, but it's how you learn from them and how you progress from that makes the difference. So you should never be scared of failure. You just got to be willing to learn from the failures that you have in life. You never want to be last in anything you do, but I think that's a natural part of life, and you are going to come last in certain aspects of life, but I think you can learn a lot from coming last in anything, and you've got to use that and learn from it. I remember lots of times at school, if we had swimming lessons, I'd try and fake I had a cold or something so I didn't have to go swimming to take my top off. I remember lots of times being at home, if my parents had friends around, I'd always run upstairs and just kind of hide away if I had my top off because I was so embarrassed of how I looked. Very overweight, not confident in my own body. I remember my dad was trying to get me to lose weight for many years, and my mum was always like, oh, he's fine, he's perfect, like I could never do anything wrong in my mum's eyes. And then my dad said, we'll give you a goal to work towards, and if you do it, we'll get you the PlayStation 2 that you've always wanted. So I really wanted the PlayStation 2 at the time, so I was like, right, I'm just going to eat a little bit less junk and I reckon the weight will drop off. So after a month, we weighed myself, lost some weight. I can't remember how much weight I lost, but I felt really good and proud of myself because it was the first time I'd ever set a goal and then worked towards it and achieved it. I was starting to like the way I looked because I looked a little bit less overweight, so I was wearing different clothes, I was getting a little bit more confident in my body. So that was like the kickstart to my fitness journey. It's really important to set goals, put things in place to achieve those goals and then tick them along the way. And I think once you achieve the little goals, it really gives you a massive confidence boost, it keeps you motivated, and it makes you feel extremely proud, and it doesn't let you get stale because you're always achieving a goal, feeling great about yourself, and then work towards the next goal. I'll put markers that I'm aiming towards to tick off, and it's just a little mental trick that if you're doing a 10-round workout, 10 rounds seems a lot and you think, God, I've got to do 10 rounds this workout, it's going to take forever. But if you just take one round at a time, do one round, tick it off, then I'm just thinking about the next round, tick it off. You kind of breaking the workout down instead of just seeing it as a 10 round kind of whole workout. So mentally it's a lot easier. I say to everyone is to make sure you enjoy the process and to run your own race. So I mean by that is, when I was on my fitness journey and to losing the weight, I lost it. It was a long process, but that was right for me. But someone might see me doing crazy amount of ring muscle ups, doing the amount of volume I'm doing every single day, twice a day, and they might want to jump into that straight away. Whereas that's been an 8-year process for me to be able to get to that point. You're just seeing the end result of 8 years of hard work. And I always just say, you've got to run your own race. I've been doing this for 8 years. I could never have done this 8 years ago. I've had to build up to this workload, and I've had to get my body conditioned to it. I didn't just jump straight into it. It's taken 7-8 years. You've got to run your own race. You've got to be willing to put the time into the process, day in, day out. Even if you're doing pull-ups instead of ring muscle, that doesn't matter. You just know one day you'll build up to that level that I'm at. And you've got to, most importantly, enjoy the process and make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. So on my fitness journey, the PlayStation 2 was what first got me into it, and that was that first goal that I worked towards. But I didn't really get into the fitness industry and really start enjoying it until I wanted to do it for myself. So that external goal was great, but once I got it, I could have easily have just said, oh, I'm just going to go back to eating again, because I needed something else for someone to give me to work towards. Some people are just born with a strong mentality, but then it's also something you can develop throughout your career. So I definitely wasn't as mentally strong as I am now 7 years ago, just because that everyday pursuit of coming into the gym, working as hard as you can, pushing yourself to limits, that resilience and strong mindset is definitely something you can work on. And I think it's an element of fitness that I think a lot of people don't focus too much on, because you could have exactly the same athletes, fitness wise, strength wise, but if one's mentally stronger and willing to go into those dark places, they're going to do better in CrossFit than the other one. So it's definitely something you should focus on, and you should spend time developing that strong mindset. And it's just that mental strength to be able to keep pushing every single time you come into the gym, and not letting yourself slack during your sessions. So I could easily come into the gym, pick an easy rep scheme, complete it super easy, and then go home and just carry on like that. Whereas me mentally, I'm always trying to progress, and I'm always trying to push my limits. I always have to do an extra rep somewhere, or do something a little bit faster. And I think that's just something that's built inside me that definitely helps within CrossFit, and definitely helps you go to those dark places. But it's definitely something I developed over the years, so it's definitely something you can work on. No one just turns up to the gym as an absolute animal. You've got to develop it, and that goes for the same with your mental attitude as well. Shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll be amongst the stars. So I remember having that on my goals board, and that to me means aim so high that even if you don't get to that point, you've achieved so much getting to that point. So if some people are quite scared to aim high and they just set low goals because they just want to make sure 100% they achieve it, then they'll achieve it, but then they could have missed out on so many other areas in life, or so many other opportunities, because they were a bit scared to aim that high because they might not have achieved it. So I've always been, like I said, in 2013 when I first saw the CrossFit Games, straight away I said I want to compete at the CrossFit Games. Whereas a lot of people could have said, right, I just want to compete at a local comp. But I wanted to set my goals so high that all that journey leading up to that would have led to so many different opportunities and so many career options. And I was never scared to set that goal, and never scared to not achieve it, because I knew even if I didn't achieve it, there was lots of goals I would have ticked off along the journey. So yeah, I think that motto is always something that I live by, and I'm very fortunate to achieve the goal that I set all those 7 years ago.